Welcome to the video where I'll walk through how to use Lou Bagel's pixel art cropping tool, as well as several of the features and options. But first, why did I create a pixel art cropping tool? I know this is a very niche use case, so I'm sure there are non-pixel artists that won't fully understand, but this was something that I found tedious, so even if it only makes this process easier for me, I'm fine with that, but I'm sure there's other pixel artists that will also find this useful. The most concise summary is that this tool will allow you to change the scale without changing the canvas size. So whenever you need your pixel art at specific dimensions, Steam, social media, etc., you first lock in that size, then you can just simply click up and down arrows to see how it looks at different scales. Also, you can drag it manually to adjust the crop. There may be other apps or websites that have similar features, but I haven't seen one specifically for pixel art, which of course, with the image smoothing turned on, that will ruin your beautiful pixel art. Here is a quick walkthrough of using the pixel art cropping tool without diving too deep into any of the features yet. Load your pixel art either by drag and drop or the file chooser. Set the focal point, which will help auto center to this focal point as you're scaling. Choose what sizes you need, either from the presets or by entering your own custom size. For this example, I'll choose profile backgrounds, which means the backgrounds on social medias, which all have different size requirements, or most do. Go through each size, zooming in or out, which is the key feature here. If I'm trying to do this in A-Sprite, I'll end up guessing what scale I want it to go up by. So let's do it 7 times, so put in 700%, then crop it to those specific dimensions. If it works, that's great, but if I don't, then I'll undo it all, and then, okay, do I want it in 600% or 500%, recrop it, then try to think which one's better, or try a third option, and it just ends up going back and forth. That's the tedious part that I've basically streamlined to one click of a button, just click up or down, and you can see it and compare easily. And after you get all the sizes looking how you want them, just go to the export screen and you can save them all with one click of a button. That's the quick and easy run through. Let's take a closer look at the focal point. If I keep the focal point in the center for this example, it doesn't really demonstrate the functionality here or how it's helpful, but if I put it off to the side, like on this person sitting here, you can see when the image is first pulled up, the focal point is not in the center. That's because the canvas should always be filled and there's not enough space on the right to move it over any farther. But as you zoom in, it will zoom in towards the focal point, and of course when you're zooming out, it will clamp it to the right edge so that there's no blank space. Now if you start dragging around, it will detach from that focal point, and whatever is in the center becomes the new focal point, but you can go back to the focal point screen to reset that. This is just helpful if you are cropping something that the focal point is not in the center. So if you take a screenshot, the player's not in the middle of the screen, or whatever you're trying to capture isn't in the middle of the screen. That way you can mark the focal point, and however you zoom in and out, it will always stay on the screen. Now let's run through a specific use case for this tool, creating images for Steam. For those that haven't launched a game on Steam, you can see here that I'm showing the different sizes and aspect ratios of images you need. Obviously, I'm not using the same image for every one, but you can see a lot of them are the logo. Pull up the logo in the pixel art tool. I will add all the Steam presets, and then I will simply go through them, zooming in or out, until I get them all how I want them. If there are sizes this logo does not work for, I'll just remove them for now. And as you can see, when I export them, they will have the dimensions in the file name, so that way it's easy to figure out which one is which. I'll go ahead and drag and drop one in here, and you can see that it's one of the sizes I need. Next, we're going to talk about layers, which this one screenshot required by Steam, where you need to put a logo above an image, gave me the idea for this. So make sure you're in advanced mode, load in your image, and then on the focal point screen below it, you'll see a layers box where you can add gradient or images. Gradients either mean a solid color or a gradient, and for images, you can add, obviously, you can load in more images. There are the master controls in this section, which should kind of set each preset size where it starts at, but then on each size you can control exactly where you want to place them. So not only can you control the scale and the positioning of the background image, you can do so with the layers. The gradients, you can only change the opacity since those are full screen, but as you can see here, I can drag around the background, drag around the logo. I'm not trying to make anything particular, just demonstrate the features, and I feel like you could do a lot with this. Or you can just simply throw on a logo or your watermark over your image. Now we're going to demonstrate some buttons added specifically for social media posts, as posting to social media might be the most frequent use for this tool. So we're going to skip ahead to where a Reddit post and a Blue Sky post are added, and after you do the same thing where you get the image looking how you want, you'll notice that there is a share button at the top. Clicking it will take you directly to that social media, creating a new post. Now I couldn't figure out an easy way for the image to go with it, but the image is copied to your clipboard, so all you gotta do is Control V and it will paste it right in. There's also settings where you can adjust the default text, as well as for Reddit specifically the sub that it will default show up that it's posting to. Exact same thing for the Blue Sky post, but I just wanted to throw this one in there too, as a lot of times people get into hashtags that they routinely use, so you can set those in the settings so you don't have to write in the hashtags every single time. This might not be a huge time savings, but I feel like it's pretty convenient. Also, because you don't have to export it from the tool. I don't know about you, but sometimes I find that I forget to clean up all the different sizes I've exported for different social medias that I don't need afterwards. I end up with like 5 different copies of the same pixel art. So that's it for this video. I am showing on the screen right now. I did make a blog post on itch.io with some upcoming features that I'm considering. So if you do have any feedback or ideas, please go to that blog post and leave a comment, because I do want to hear what's useful to people, and what before I work on something I kind of want to align it with whatever people might find helpful. So hope this video was helpful, hope the tool is helpful, and just please let me know any feedback and stuff. Also on lubagel.com there is kind of a written blog post of this video, so if you prefer to read over watching, I'll link that in the description. But thanks for watching, have a great one.